Have you ever seen a contender look at a $20 million asset and decide that the best move for the franchise is to simply set that money on fire? Because that is exactly what just happened in Philadelphia, and it has sent a shockwave through the entire Major League Baseball ecosystem. We are not talking about a small market team cutting costs. We are talking about the Philadelphia Phillies, a team built to win the World Series right now, making a calculated, ruthless decision to sever ties with Nick Castellanos just days before pitchers and catchers report. This isn't just a roster move, it is a declaration of intent. It screams that tolerance for mediocrity or distractions is at absolute zero. But while Philadelphia is cleaning house, a desperate situation is brewing north of the border that might turn this discarded slugger into the most important signing of February. The context here is absolutely critical to understand. The Toronto Blue Jays are currently in a state of emergency. They spent the entire winter dreaming of Kyle Tucker in right field. They had the money, they had the pitch, and they had the hope. But when Tucker put pen to paper on that massive $240 million deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers, the air was sucked out of the Rogers Center. To make matters worse, the injury to Anthony Santander, out for half the season with shoulder surgery, has turned a need into a gaping wound. The Blue Jays are bleeding power, and the free agent market has been picked clean. Enter Nick Castellanos. The timing of his release is almost suspicious in its perfection for Toronto. The Phillies couldn't find a trade partner, likely due to that hefty contract and his defensive reputation, so they pulled the plug. Now, he is a free agent. He is available, and most importantly, he is cheap for anyone who isn't the Philadelphia Phillies. But this isn't a fairy tale. This is a gritty, uncomfortable reality. Castellanos comes with baggage. The reports of him being benched last season for having a beer in the dugout during a game paint a picture of a player who might have lost his focus. So, the question facing the Blue Jays front office is not about talent, it is about culture. Do you bring a player with that kind of recent history into a locker room that is trying to take the next step? Or is the desperation for home runs so high that you simply don't care? We are witnessing a high-stakes game of poker. The Phillies folded their hand with Castellanos, but the Blue Jays might be forced to go all in on the very same cards. This is the brutal, unromantic side of baseball business, where one team's cancer is another team's potential cure. Let's strip away the drama for a moment and look at the baseball player. Who is Nick Castellanos in 2026? If you listen to the critics, he is a defensive liability who chases sliders in the dirt and checks out mentally when things go wrong. If you listen to his defenders, he is one of the purest hitters of his generation who was scapegoated by a Phillies organization looking for someone to blame. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in the messy middle. We know the pedigree is there. This is a Silver Slugger winner. This is a guy who, when his timing is right, can carry an offense for weeks. His swing is violent, compact, and designed to do damage. However, the Blue Jays have to be realistic about what they are buying. In the modern game, defensive value is king. Teams like the Dodgers and Braves build rosters with athletes who save runs as well as they create them. Castellanos is an anomaly. He is a designated hitter forced to play the field. In the expansive outfield of the Rogers Center, his lack of range will be exposed. Every ball hit into the gap in right center field is going to be an adventure. The Blue Jays pitching staff, which relies on ground balls and solid defense, might not be thrilled about seeing him trot out to right field every day. But here is the counter-argument, and it is a compelling one. The American League East is an arms race. You have the Yankees with Judge and Soto. You have the Orioles with their young superstars. You cannot win this division by winning 2-1 games every night. You have to score. You have to bludgeon the opponent. With Santander out, the Blue Jays lost 30 potential home runs. Castellanos is one of the few humans on Earth available right now who can realistically replace that production. Think about the lineup construction. You put Castellanos behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Suddenly, pitchers can't pitch around Vladdy as easily. You lengthen the lineup. You add a veteran presence who has played in the World Series. The Blue Jays recently traded for depth pieces like Sanchez from the Astros, but those are complementary moves. Castellanos is a needle mover. He changes the dynamic of the batting order. The front office has to weigh the defensive headache against the offensive necessity. It is a calculation that keeps general managers awake at night. Is the potential for 3 runs driven in worth the risk of 1 run allowed due to a slow jump in the outfield? In February, the answer is usually yes. We need to go deeper into the why of the release, because it is the most fascinating part of this story. The beer in the dugout incident is not just a funny headline. It is a symptom of a broken relationship. In professional sports, trust is the currency of the clubhouse. When a player violates the rules of engagement, especially a veteran who should know better, it erodes that trust. The Phillies decided that the distraction was greater than the production. They chose to eat millions of dollars rather than let that energy fester. That is a damning indictment of where things stood in Philadelphia. But let's flip the script. What happens to a player when he is publicly humiliated and discarded? What happens to a proud athlete when the world thinks he is finished? One of two things usually happens. They crumble or they ignite. We have seen countless examples of players who get cut, sign with a new team, and suddenly look like MVP candidates again. It's the revenge factor. Castellanos has always played with a chip on his shoulder. He is an emotional player. If he channels that anger into his preparation, the Blue Jays could be the beneficiaries of a massive bounce-back season. However, we cannot ignore the human element. The Blue Jays have a young core. They are impressionable. Bringing in a guy with baggage is dangerous. If Castellanos is a bad influence, it could derail the focus of the team. But if he comes in humble, admits his mistakes, and mentors the younger guys, the narrative changes completely. The Blue Jays are betting on the person as much as the player. They are betting that the embarrassment of being released will be the wake-up call Castellanos needed. It is a psychological gamble in a high-pressure environment. Toronto is a market that demands effort. If he jogs after a fly ball, the fans will turn on him. If he hustles and hits homers, they will build him a statue. So where does this leave us? The Toronto Blue Jays are standing at the edge of a cliff. The season hasn't even started, and they are already dealing with crisis management. The loss of Tucker and Santander forced their hand. They didn't plan for this. They didn't want this. But sometimes the best moves are the ones you are forced to make. Signing Nick Castellanos is not a perfect solution. It is a band-aid, but it might be a band-aid made of Kevlar. The Phillies made a business decision. They prioritized the long-term health of their culture. The Blue Jays are making a survival decision. They are prioritizing the immediate need for survival in the AL East. Both teams can be right. It is possible that Castellanos was done in Philly but is just getting started in Toronto. That is the beauty of baseball. It is a game of second chances. If this deal goes through, it will be the most scrutinized signing of the spring. Every at-bat, every fly ball, every interaction in the dugout will be analyzed. But if Castellanos hits a walk-off home run in April against the Yankees, nobody is going to care about a beer in Philadelphia. Winning cures everything. The Blue Jays are betting their season on that simple truth. They are betting that talent, when backed into a corner, will fight its way out. Now I turn the floor over to you, the real experts. Is this a masterstroke by the Blue Jays front office to snag a star for free? Or are they bringing a Trojan horse into their locker room that will destroy them from the inside? I want to see your predictions. Does Castellanos hit 30 homers this year, or is he cut by the All-Star break? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because if this signing happens, we are going to be covering every single angle of it. Until next time, keep your eyes on the waiver wire.